Unlock financial success. 8 essential resources you need. Almost everyone on earth will have their own opinions on what financial success means to them. Some would define financial success as having all the money they need to take care of their families and have a comfortable home to live in, while others would feel financially successful if they could retire comfortably without debt, and someone else might think it means having millions to give away and take care of the needy, and so on. However you look at it, being financially stable is something that takes a lot of stress off a person. It means not having to worry about how your family will eat or where they will live. It's like taking a huge weight off your shoulders. The fact that there are systems and strategies in place to ensure your financial success is comforting. One way to do this is by investing in assets that can increase in value over time. Being able to determine the right or suitable assets to invest in requires knowledge, values, balance, and a clear perspective of what goals you want to achieve. So, follow us if you want to take a look at the different types of assets you can invest in to achieve financial freedom. But before we dive into the content, we conducted a survey on the channel and you guys said you wanted to know more about passive income. Well, we created a PDF document that reveals our exclusive secrets. So, if you're interested, you can access it through the link in the descriptions. Additionally, a ton of value PDF will be coming out soon, so stay tuned for those. Now, if you haven't already, give a thumbs up to this video for that YouTube algorithm. Now, let's get into it. 1. Bonds. A bond can be defined as a loan from an investor to a borrower. The lender can be the public, an individual, or entire companies. In most cases, the borrower is the government or a corporation. Information such as the terms of payment or the interest to be paid, as well as the maturity period, are always detailed. Bonds are tradable assets. In most cases, they provide a fixed income to the lender. The interest rates are always fixed, which means you know exactly the amount you will get when the bond matures. This means you can be certain that your wealth will always grow. You will need to do your due diligence when choosing a bond to know which asset can fit your investment portfolio. This is a safe way to achieve financial success. 2. Stocks. A stock is a security that gives the holder ownership of a part of an organization, company, or corporation. The owner receives a share of the assets and profits made by the company. How much is given depends on the amount of investment made. Each unit of stock is defined as a share. The process of buying and selling stocks is carried out according to regulations set by the government to ensure that investors are protected from unfair practices that can lead to the loss of their investment. The buying and selling of stocks are more commonly done on the stock market. Almost every country on earth has a stock market. In the United States, there are several, such as the NYSE, the Nasdaq, and so on. In the United Kingdom, they have the London Stock Exchange, and in South Africa, they have the JSE, Johannesburg Stock Exchange. To simplify things for investors today, there are many brokers operating online. However, it is necessary to do due diligence. You need to identify authentic brokers. Even individuals can buy and sell online. For those who have invested long-term in this asset, the rewards are normally enormous, especially if the company is doing well and the stock price is constantly rising. This also means that the dividends are good. However, like any asset, stocks are not immune to various unexpected market changes that can negatively affect the stocks. But in general, stocks will have a positive impact on your wealth. Diversifying or investing in different stocks is often a wise decision to mitigate any risk, since there is no guarantee on the direction a company may take, which can impact the stock price and dividends. 3. Real estate. Real estate can be defined as real property, which is fundamentally land and anything attached to it that is permanent. Real estate can come in the form of flat land with nothing built on it, industrial property, commercial property, or even residential property. Real estate is commonly known as one of the assets with the highest appreciation. Most people have secured their wealth through the buying and selling of real estate, building rentals for both residential and commercial use, building and selling properties, farming, and much more. When you purchase a property and hold it for some time, you are likely to earn more compared to when you simply buy and sell. The time factor is very critical in this asset, as it tends to increase or appreciate in value over time. You might buy land in a very deserted place, but when you give it a few years, you will find that more buyers have come into the area and developed the place, making it more valuable than before. Most properties tend to increase in value over time, and it is hard to get a property that depreciates in value unless it is in an area with buildings left unattended and people who have abandoned the area for years. Even in this situation, the land itself will continue to increase in value. Although the real estate sector is a very attractive asset for ensuring financial success, it also comes with some risks that you need to research and be aware of during investment. In some parts of the world, some have experienced a real estate bubble, although it generally lasts for a short period of time, but it can have negative effects on this asset. There are also many scammers and fraudsters in the sector that can lead to losses if you do not do your due diligence. But there is no need to worry too much. With thorough investigations and laws in place to protect you, the real estate sector remains a profitable and, largely, beginner-friendly way to gain wealth. 4. High-yield savings account. A high-yield savings account will generally give you more interest than a regular savings account. However, the risks of the high-yield account are greater compared to regular accounts. In this world, everything has a risk, but the smart way to do it is to understand the risk and put in place some mitigations. This asset will offer you a good interest rate on your investment, and the more you invest, the better the pay. The rates, of course, will be affected if the economy is in a difficult phase, but in most cases, you still get a nice return. When investing in this asset, it is fundamental to do some research to determine the legitimate players in the market who have been tested and made a name for themselves with a good reputation. This will reduce the risk of being scammed and losing your investment. Many people have become financially secure by investing in high-yield savings accounts. While a typical savings account may make you feel more secure, the returns you get are very low. Take the risk and get yourself a high-yield account if you are looking to achieve financial freedom. 5. Collections. Collecting knickknacks is a common hobby that many have. The surprising thing that many of us do not realize is how valuable some of these things can be. Although you have to spend money on the process of collecting, when the time of selling comes, you will be satisfied with the rewards you will reap. The main risk here is that you cannot predict if the items or goods will offer a good price in the future. This is where research comes in handy. You will at least have a vague idea of how much similar items are currently worth. This mainly applies if you are a new collector. For experienced collectors who have been in the market for a long time, this is easy because they have acquired experience over time. Here are some profitable collections you can start. 1. Aged or matured wines and liquors that have been aged for many years. They are rare in the market. You can check out Vint if you are interested. 2. Artworks. You should know that buying the paintings can be expensive, but if you choose the right piece, it will be worth it. Pay attention to renowned artists and those who are gaining popularity. You can check out Masterworks if you are interested. 3. Classic cars. If you love getting your hands dirty, you can buy a classic car, restore it, and sell it at a higher price. Although this is an expensive collection, it is very popular. These are just some of the items that people collect. Others include cutlery, unique household items, clothes, jewelry, and much more, valuable goods that will produce wealth at the right time. 6. Certificate of deposit. A certificate of deposit is a certificate that a bank issues to someone who makes a deposit of money at the bank for an agreed period of time at a determined interest rate. This is a good way to appreciate the value of your asset, especially if it is money that you do not need to use for some time. Instead of keeping the money in a non-interest-bearing account, it is better to earn money in a deposit account. This is a low-risk investment, and in most cases, it does not attract a very high interest rate. The certificate of deposit is purchased through the bank of your choice. To ensure that your money is protected, make sure the bank has insurance coverage on deposits, so if the bank ever fails, your money will be protected. When you deposit the money, the bank will pay you the interest as agreed. When the term of the deposit is over, you will receive your initial deposited money with any interest accrued. This resource helps you make money, and depending on the amount of money invested and the period of time, you can determine how much wealth you want to create. It is good to note that, like almost everything else, the interest rate on cash deposits is affected by fluctuations in inflation rates. In seasons when the rates are very high, the certificate of deposit may become less attractive. 7. Mutual funds. A mutual fund is basically an investment vehicle where several investors pool their money together under a fund manager who invests on their behalf. It can also be defined as a group of assets managed together, and the proceeds are shared proportionally. The main assets invested in are treasury bonds, treasury bills, stocks, and other assets that increase in value. Due to their diversification, mutual funds are very attractive as assets and are an excellent choice for increasing your money and net worth. One of the advantages is that they can be easily purchased through many brokerage firms. This asset also attracts some tax benefits depending on the investment vehicles used, making it a better option for most investors. One thing to note is that investors are not consulted on where and how to invest since they have no ownership rights over the holdings in which their funds are invested. If this does not bother you, mutual funds might be the right thing for you. 8. Private equity. Private equity is the investment of capital made in private companies. Compared to public equity securities, private equity is attractive to investors as it offers better returns. In private equity, you can invest and obtain an ownership stake in a private business. This can be an existing business or a startup. This means that the investor will receive a share of the profits and a lump sum if the business is sold at some point. This capital requires a rather large investment, and investors need to be accredited or be venture capitalists. Investing in a business that you did not start is risky, and in this case, a lot of study is necessary. However, if you manage to invest and choose the right private equity, the returns can be very rewarding and this can push you towards financial success. In conclusion, we all have the same opportunities out there. Let's continue to encourage each other to go out and invest in activities that will clearly make our lives better and give us financial freedom. We are interested in discovering your personal experience on the topic. Write it in the comments and feel free to ask any questions, we will be happy to interact. Feel free to leave a comment so that we can improve the content. Your like would be the cherry on top, and click subscribe to stay informed about upcoming publications.